Welcome to Jazz Time. JazzTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make these videos so our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. If you like this watch and would like to purchase it at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at JazzTime.com. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Tudor Pelagos FXD Chrono with a 43mm black carbon composite case and a blue dial reference M25807KN-0001. I will tell you a little about where this watch stands in the lineup of other similar Tudors, then tell you about the case bezel dial bracelet movement, finally try it on and give you my thoughts. So let's start. Where does this watch stand in the lineup? Well, the Tudor is, let's start with, what is Tudor? It is the smaller brother, your younger brother of Rolex. It's owned by the same company, Rolex, but it is the cheaper version of it, the more affordable version, and the version that you don't have to stand in line and beg at the authorized dealer to get. Now, Tudor price point is usually around $5,000 or less, or somewhere in that range. Rolex starts their watches at $5,000 or more. So Tudor picks up where Rolex leaves off. And as you can imagine, they make many different kind of watches. They as in Tudor, have sports watches, which is what you see here. They have classical watches, which is kind of like dress watches. They have women's watches, and they have their famous Black Bay. The watch that you're looking at here is the sports watch, and it has a chronograph. And of the sports watches that with chronograph, the Pelagos, they break it down into a section called the FXD, and these are really sporty looking watches. They have all these really crazy, cool, funky colors, and well, that's what you see here. So yeah, of the FXD, the two most expensive ones are the ones in black PVD. They call it a carbon composite case. I think it's basically just if I'm not, it's mistake. Actually, I said it was a PVD case, but now that I'm looking at it, I don't believe it is. I believe it's a carbon composite case, which means it's not just PVD is when you take stainless steel and you just simply apply a color to it. This is actually a case that is made of carbon, so it's carbon composite case, and it is, by the way, the most expensive case that they make for the Pelagos, and coming at a retail of $5,275. And by the way, you can buy it for much less than that at jazztime.com. I just realized that earlier in my other videos I said that they were PVD. Actually, I guess that was wrong. Okay, which is a good thing because PVD can scratch and these probably don't. All right. Anyways, let's us talk about where this watch, or start talking about the watch itself. Starting with the case. Now the case is 43mm, and to give you some reference, 40mm is a good size. 40 to 44mm is a good size for a men's sports watch. This one come at 43. It's quite large, but that's okay because this watch is meant to do. It's meant to be very legible at a drop of a dime. They call this one the Alinghi Red Bull Racing Edition. Now Alinghi is a event that is where the sailboats are racing, and they say it's a Red Bull racing event. Okay, well, if you break that down a little bit, this red accent that you see in the dial kind of lends to that racing, and the blue sort of represents water, I would imagine, because Alinghi is a racing event on the water. Okay, now the case, as I said, was 43mm. The thickness is 13.6, not terribly thick, quite a nice size, and the lug width is 22mm. Again, it matches the case at 22mm. Okay, now let's talk about the dial here. The dial is quite special, actually, if you look at it. Normally on a chronograph you have 3 subdials and no date. Sometimes you have a date, but sometimes they want to squeeze the date in between the 4 and the 5 position, which a little bit looks kind of crowded. But in this situation, what Tudor wisely decided to do was to separate the two, to allow space for the date and put it at the 6 o'clock. So there's no running second. Actually, I'm sorry, there is running seconds, but instead they were unable to do it an hour, like an hours. They can only do the counter up to 60 minutes. And so that's what you see on the left-hand side. You see the 60-minute counter that's going through, okay, which I think is actually pretty cool. Okay, now, and you see the date at the 6 o'clock, which, by the way, if you think about it, this Pelagos Chrono is actually has more utility than, for example, its bigger brother, the Daytona, which is a chronograph only, does not even have a date. So quite a feat, considering that the price is so much less than a Daytona, but it still has actually more. It has a chronograph and a date. Rolex does not have that. They only have a chronograph. That's it. Okay, so let's move on here to the dial. Or actually, we already talked about the dial. The dial has a matte blue with red accents. Okay, we should talk a little about this crystal though, which is quite nice. It has a sapphire crystal. Actually, I was going to say something about the crystal. On other versions, they actually make the crystal so that it has a curve to it. This one, they don't do that. So I guess there's not that much to talk about on this one. Okay, let's move on to the strap here. Now the strap is this canvas strap that you see right here, and I think what is nice about it is the watch, it looks very sporty to begin with, and to keep it on this leather strap, or not this canvas strap, I just think it number one, it wears more comfortably, and number two, it just leans into that very how would you say, sporty look of this watch. Okay, I mean, they could have done it on a metal bracelet, but I think it actually looks better on the bracelet that you see here in front of you. Okay, all right, so that is the strap. Let's see what else we should talk about here. The movement. Okay, the movement is the MT5813 chronograph movement, and it is self-winding, as in it is automatic. Now, what would be the benefit to that is that you obviously don't have to wind it, and it has a power reserve of 70 hours. So a lot of other chronographs, such as in Patek or Omega, they are actually manual wind, which can be kind of a pain sometimes, because then you have to remember you have to wind it. So this one is really nice in that you do not have to actually wind it. Okay, let's go ahead and I think it's time for me to try this watch on. So let's try it on. Now, I'm 200 pounds. I have a 7.5 inch wrist, and you can see this 43 millimeter looks really nice on me. And I would suggest it for those who have a 6.75 inch wrist or larger, that they could go with a 43. Although 43 is large, it's not that large, and I really like the Pelagos because it's the super sporty version of it. You don't see this kind of accents in terms of the red and this black composite case. I mean, I feel like Tudor really went out on a limb here and tried to create something really cool and sporty, whereas you see Rolex, the big brother, is quite conservative. They really just stick to the basics. Of course, they do the basics very well, but they just really stick to the basics. Whereas on the cheaper watch, Tudor is really going out and making all this crazy like designs and accents. You'd actually expect it to be the other way around, but okay, it's not. So anyways, look, if you like to buy this watch at the lowest price anywhere online, click on the link in the description below to buy it at jazztime.com.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to Model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at jazztime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazzTime, plus the brand, model and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.